Welcome to Superside. This is the FIM Sidecar World Championship, the 9th round coming from Imola, the penultimate round of the 2003 season. And what a round it's going to be. We have a lot of action. The title chase is still open, but only just, and beautiful sunny weather here in Italy, and a full grid of machines. Here it is, the schedule. We can see we had 2 races at Assen just a couple of weeks ago, and Imola this weekend, 3 weeks' time, Mandicourt in France for the first time ever. Full grid down there, just waiting for the formalities to get out the way. A friendly crowd around the Imola circuit. The park here, a great atmosphere, and a lot of them staying around for this Superside action. The weather, sunny, 35 degrees humidity, just coming on a bit more lately. Track temperature is perfect, 32 degrees, and the air temperature, very nice, 22 degrees. So no problems there for any of the machines or tyres. This is what they want, and they've got it for the second to last round of the 2003 championship. On the grid, we've got a pretty spectacular sight. All the umbrellas up, the guys just getting their last instructions. And there is the view back to the start line. So here it is, the lap record 2001, Webster and Woodhead, the 1:57.5, and they've got pretty close to that. In fact, they've beaten it in qualifying. Circuit length is 4.9 kilometres, a bit over 3 miles. And getting down to the grid, Webster and Woodhead pole position yet again. 26 in a row for the Super Pole Masters. They've just obliterated the field again. Steinhausen and Hopkinson, bit of a story about them. We'll get back to them. They missed the final qualifying session, still second on the grid. Van Gils on yesterday's time as well in 3rd position. Abbott's had some problems, and Hanks and Biggs have been rebuilding engines this afternoon after doing 2 head gaskets in qualification. Here is the news though, Dernancourt and his passenger there, number 88, 7th on the grid, their first ever race. It comes straight out of the French Championship, and there they are. Then we get back to some of the regulars, although Rob Cameron's joined us again for the weekend, so getting in amongst his British countrymen, Gatton Randall, and Founds with a new passenger, Rick Long, in there as well. So a very packed field. Rocher and Harney well down for them. They were consistent early, but Galros and Berglund 15th, and Menge going well in 16th. Row 8 down towards the back there. Morrissey and Harper's had a bit of a trouble. Peach has finally sorted some engine problems and qualified in the last session, and he's looking forward to a pretty good race now that he's on 4 cylinders. Norman Burgess, welcome to commentary. What have you got to say about all this?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one, Rob. This is going to be an action-packed race. I mean, it's such a technical circuit that I'm sure now everybody's sorted the machines out, and the handling and the tyres. Tyres are going to be very important in this one.
Well, there we saw Steve Webster. He's got 26 in a row on pole. Amazing. There's Jörg Steinhausen. Let's talk about him. He's just flown back from Germany. He was in Germany this morning qualifying for a German national race. He qualified here yesterday, 2 sessions yesterday, 2nd on the grid, standing there with Brendan and Jason and Malcolm from Yokohama. That's the whole Yokohama service team there.
Yeah, but there's his dad, Rolf. He's more my hero is Rolf, and great world champion Rolf. And yeah, Jörg following in the family tradition.
Yeah, so they've chartered a plane. They've been back to Hockenheim, qualified for a German championship, flew back down. They're racing here. Tonight they fly back to Hockenheim. Tomorrow they win the German championship, they hope.
These are living out of a suitcase at the moment, but it's so important to win the German championship, being obviously from that neck of the wood. And yeah, the Grand Prix is also very important. So yeah, jet setters they are.
Yeah, so a bit of a special story for Jörg Steinhausen. Another special story here, Martin and Tony Van Gils, 3rd. Martin said to me yesterday, if we can sign off on 3rd now, I'll take it. He thought that Abbott and Claffey might come through a bit. There's Tony, just with a bit of a wave. They are really, really happy with 3rd and hope they can stay there.
Going very well, and there's the old wily Derbyshire Fox. Abbott now is taking things in. He's having to think about what he's going to do in the race. And as you know, I'm slightly involved with the team, and there's a little bit of strategy going to be involved in this race, and I think we're going to see Abbott. I've got to say this now, Rob. I think we're going to see Abbott in the first 3.
Well, big call as usual from Norman Burgess. There is the Hanks machine. They've just had that totally in pieces. Did another head gasket. That's 2 for the weekend. Tom said it was his mistake last night. What they should have been doing was rebuilding engines. They went to bed early, had a good night's sleep. Today got up, did another head gasket. He's had to choose which engine to rebuild for the race.
Yeah, very much like myself. I had an early night and all, Rob. And yeah, what happened were the cylinder head gasket problems, and the problem with the cylinder head gaskets are that they're actually machining to critical levels, and this is causing, always will cause cylinder head problems. They're also boring the machines out to such big sizes that we're trying to defeat the manufacturer.
I don't know what to say about Christian Parser with that kiss. There was some line about you and him in there, Norman. I just can't find it at the moment. We'll move on to Rocha and Harney there, the black machine. This is at the back of the grid, number 55. And Rocha's had some major trouble this weekend and shouldn't be in 14th. He was in 4th place in the championship earlier this year, qualified in 14th now.
Yeah, but Adolf Harney, he's the hard man of sidecar racing, is Adolf. He's had more bumps and bruises than I care to think about. And yeah, they will be there at the end, I'm sure.
Here is the surprise packet, straight out of the French Championship. First ever World Championship race. They put it onto 7th on the grid.
Yeah, what a good turnout. I mean, they've just rolled up to this the Grand Prix, and qualified absolutely fantastic.
So there we go, the new team. They want to do the championship next year, and I'd say 7th so far. They'll be right in there.
They'll be very hungry for next year now, I'm sure, because they've come in and they have shown 1 or 2 of the old boys some new tricks.
Jock Skeen and Neil Miller, you remember that spectacular crash at Assen as the cameraman just wakes Jock up there a bit with a bit of a nudge. Spectacular crash. They've rebuilt the back of the fairing, a fair bit of work there, and unfortunately had a spin yesterday. Neil had another bit of a tumble down the track, but he's just been to Dr. Costa. His wrist is freed up again, and he's right there.
The Flying Scotsman, we call them, Rob, and they're putting a lot of effort and a lot of time into it. And yeah, 1 or 2 little knocks, but I don't think it's too much of a problem.
Bill Phillips struggling with horsepower, 155 horsepower, he says, out of his tuned R1 engine. That's about what they get standard. So he's got a problem with horsepower, and you see he's down 15 to 20 kilometres an hour in the top speed. He's making it up through the corners, which he says himself is trying too hard. He said, Abbott went past me yesterday like I was just sitting on pit wall.
Yeah, that is true. I saw him there, and I witnessed the event. And yes, he's been down big time on horsepower. I mean, when we're looking at Steve Webster, Steve Abbott, Klaffenbach, and the rest of them running 200 plus. I mean, they'll not admit to what horsepower they're actually running, but 200 plus brake horsepower and 150 brake horsepower. It's very frustrating for Bill.
So he's using the brakes a great deal there and running straight up very, very close to people in corners. He doesn't like racing that way. He wants more horsepower. He tried something this morning, but he said it got him 0.2 of a second. Wasn't really what he was looking for. But I just don't know. So we're standing here waiting for the warm-up lap. Passengers just waiting to get onto the machines.
They don't like being stood on the grid here, I'll tell you now, Rob. The temperature's rising in the machines. Where we said with Hanks, with the cylinder head problems, that is one of the first things that goes wrong with these machines. When there's temperature in the engine, the weakest part is a cylinder head and cylinder head gasket. And these boys want to get on the road straight away.
Yes, and yesterday in qualifying we had a bit of a spectacular incident. Not a good incident for us, but unfortunately Gerhard Hausenberger and Ian Simons are not on the grid. They came down from the Variante Alta heading towards Ravassa and had a brake problem, unfortunately, into the side of the wall. And Ian is recovering. He's okay, apart from a broken ankle. He's had the operation already, and I think we're going to see him good and well very, very soon.
Yeah, these sidecar passengers, tough as you like, Rob, and only an ankle. Yeah, he's not a problem. I'm surprised they're not out here today, but we're looking at there at Jörg Steinhausen, and Jörg is ready now. I'm sure he's suffering from jet lag, but Jörg will be out there now. What they're actually going to do now, Rob, is what we call in the trade a warming up lap. They're going to go out there, they're going to warm the engine right through. They're going to warm the passenger, they're going to warm the driver, and more importantly, they're going to warm the tyres up.
So this is it, the Tamburello into brakes, the chicane here, very, very hard through that right-hander there. You've got to get it right, because this exit here, Webster will show us in a minute how important it is to get good drive through this left-hand exit.
Absolutely. If they don't get the drive, what happens is, Rob, you actually lose momentum, if you will, and you'll see some of these drivers showing really incredible fastest speed through the trap, and what happens is they're actually getting good drive out the corner and producing good fastest times.
Yes, maintaining that corner speed means you don't have to crack the throttle on at the exit, and you can actually help not to spin up your rear tyre as well. I don't think with the temperatures today there will be no issues with people blistering tyres through getting too hot. Everyone's been having good wear over the weekend. Of course, that goes out the window during the race.
Strange you should say that, Rob, because for one of these unusual races, everybody's using a different tyre compound. And I do believe that we are going to, towards the end of the race, we're going to see a tyre problem. You've probably proved me wrong, but yes, I do think tyres are going to be a critical issue on this one.
Okay, well, we'll see. There are a range of tyres being used. The rear tyres, mainly they'll be running with the B tyre, which is the medium compound. Some of them may have a C on the back, which is a little bit softer. It's called a B minus. Sorry, the medium minus. And that compound will be a bit stickier, but it wears out quicker. So we'll have to look for the rear tyre there. Yeah,
I'll tell you what it is now, Rob. We're going to see the experience again. 26 pole positions, I think, on the trot or something like that. But you'll see now Steve Webster, you'll think that they're going round and he's showing fast times and all that on the warm-up lap. But you'll see now Webber, what he'll actually do is slow them down so that everybody's catching him up and he's not stood on that grid too long.
And the thing is today, Webster could be after his 9th title. He's got a 20-point lead over Klaffenbach. There's 2 races left. If Klaffenbach wins and Webster comes second, that goes down to the last race. Otherwise, if Klaffenbach doesn't win, it's Webster's title.
Looking at this now on the warm-up lap, it's telling me that Jörg Steinhausen has probably got a very hard tyre on, because he's doing a lot of weaving, trying to warm the tyres up, and I think he'll be looking to get them tyres up to a working temperature, whereas you're looking at Steve Webster, I think Steve will be using a softer tyre here, Rob.
Okay, there we saw the wildcards just coming on the number 88 machine, the French team, and they will be having the butterflies going through the stomach about now. Their first World Championship race. I've spoken to him before, and Dernancourt there, he was saying he's got a little bit of fear about the start, but he's only here to test. He's only here to find out about the World Championship, find out what it's like, and win it next year.
I think what we're going to do here, see, Rob, is see a little bit of French temperament here. I think he's going to go for it right from the start. I mean, he's qualified well, and I think he's going to make all the effort, hopefully, in the first 2 or 3 laps. And he's going to show these Grand Prix regulars what it's all about.
Well, I think a few of them have been popping down to his tent to see what he has got in that machine, because he has definitely surprised a few of them, the black number 88 machine.
Yeah, and he's running a 1000cc Suzuki, Rob. Am I right there?
Yes, we'll go with that. The green flag's up at the back of the grid, and the red flag goes across the front. The red light is on. Webster lines up for the start. Woodhead's visor goes down. The light goes out. Steinhausen gets the start. Steinhausen with a big lot of rubber. But Webster seems to have got back on him, blocked him a little bit there on the lead down to the Tamburello. Hanks up the inside. And Webster it is. Webster, Steinhausen, Klaffenbach, Hanks, Van Gils, Skeen, Rob Cameron in there, Reeves as well, and then our wildcards as well, number 88, Dernancourt. So that was it, a hectic but safe first time through the Tamburello.
Oh, that's a difficult corner and all, with all these sidecars heading into. Everybody wants to lead through that corner, but yeah, Steve Webster looks to have it under control at the moment.
Van Gils just got Hanks there on the exit. That was through Villeneuve, and going into the Tesla curve for the first time, Van Gils is on a mission up the back of Klaffenbach. So Webster, Steinhausen, a little bit of a gap to Klaffenbach, then Van Gils as they go over the bumps, and Hanks just being caught up by Van Gils early in the lap.
Yeah, what we're going to see here, Robert, they're all going to be quieting down and taking a lap. I mean, they're going to be the 16 of these, and they're going to be making sure that everything is all right. And but Steve Webster, again, another flyer.
Steinhausen, has he got Webster? Yes, Steinhausen has Steve Webster. Well, the little bit of practice at a different track didn't sort Steinhausen out at all. He's gone straight past Webster and pulled a bit of a gap through the Variante Alta. Oh, Abbott's upside down. Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs have had a crash. They're both okay, but the machine is upside down at the moment.
Yes, what Abbott will be trying to do there is save the fuel, turn the machine the right way up. Yeah, they've had a bit of an incident there, but they both look okay.
Jamie, they're just holding his elbow. He had an injured shoulder already, and he's holding his elbow as he walked away. So let's hope Jamie Biggs, long-time passenger of Steve Abbott, is okay. Back to the action at the front. The end of lap 1, Steinhausen, Webster, Klaffenbach and Van Gils all together, one group at the start of this race. 2:01 lap time. Then Skeen is back there, so there's been a big problem because Hanks has dropped back. Skeen's in 5th, Cameron's in 6th place, Hanks in 7th, Rocher from 15th on the grid up to 8th, then Gatt, Filth, Reeves and Founds. That makes up the top 12. Well, we'd better find out what's going on with that incident on lap 1. I think it must have involved Hanks and Abbott, just looking at the timesheets. But this leading pack seems to be in for something. I'd say the Dutch team there will be eyeing off Klaffenbach.
Yeah, but look at number 3, Klaus Klaffenbach. He's sat there, he's waiting. As per usual, Klaffenbach is there. And you've got, at the moment, Steinhausen leading with Webster sat in a looking position in 2nd.
Yes, you can see Van Gils all over the back of Klaffenbach. A couple of flames out of the exhaust. That's Martin and Tony Van Gils from Holland. They've just, last weekend, they raced a Dutch championship race. They race almost every weekend throughout the season, and they are on it this weekend. They like the track, they like the technical aspects of the track, and they really want that 3rd place.
You're looking at the flames shooting out the exhaust there. That is a perfectly normal for sidecar racing. What they're actually doing is running the ignition so advanced that it's actually burning the fuel in the exhaust system. I mean, I know it looks very dramatic, but that's how it is.
Klaus Klaffenbach had problems in the first session, problems with the ignition, came back in the second session and put in a half respectable time, dropped his lap time by 2 seconds in final qualifying, but maintained 6th place on the grid. So Klaus Klaffenbach has had not the best start to the weekend. Maybe he has been a bit busy with this Supersport deal that he's got. Maybe he hasn't been spending enough time with the sidecar to get the lap times in the right spot. Looks like Webster having a look up the inside of Steinhausen. No moves yet from Webster, but I think he might just be sitting there although a big slide from Webster. Maybe he is having a bit of a try early on in the race.
I'll tell you what it is, Rob, and all, Jörg Steinhausen is looking very, very aggressive this weekend. Looking at the body language, Jörg is there to win this race, and Steve Webster will have to do everything he can possibly to get past him.
Yes, well, here's a replay. Look at Webster in the back, the Castrol machine. How sideways was that? I don't think there would have been a problem. Maybe a bit of dirt or something on the track, but he's just thrown that thing straight into the corner and the rear end let go.
Yeah, what's happening there, Rob? I think he's just running offline a little bit, and he's getting on to where all the waste is from the tyres, and it marvels, as we call them in the trade, and it's caused Steve Webster 1 or 2 problems.
Yes, he'll remember that for next time. Martin and Tony, Steve Webster actually followed Martin and Tony Van Gils in one of the qualifying sessions, and he was full of praise for the Dutch team. He was saying that Martin is driving the best he's ever seen. Very, very smooth. Only made a couple of very small mistakes where he didn't brake late enough into a couple of turns. But praise from Steve Webster onto the Dutch duo in 4th place.
Yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds, Rob. The Van Gils from being literally midfield to World Championship contenders.
Lap times so far aren't the competitiveness of qualifying. We're running high 59s at the moment, so this is a gentle pace that we're seeing. Gentle pace at the front. Steiny won't be going out too much. He's got a lot of racing on this weekend. He won't want to tire himself out.
No, and of course the tyre belt. He'll be saving the tyres as best as he can, because York, with his experience, will know that to push the tyres early on in the race causes problems.
Into the Tamburello on lap 4. Webster a little bit more in control that time. There you see Paul Woodhead duck his head down through that left-hander, and this is the drag up to Villeneuve.
He's driving with attitude, is Steinhausen.
But Steinhausen's just had to get off of his bike from last year at Hockenheim. That was a 1200cc machine. The gearing and the brakes are opposite feet on that machine from last year, and he's had to fly back down here, get on to a 1000cc machine, and change feet in his head.
Yeah, he can do that though, can Jorg. He's experienced enough now. We'd have called him a new boy a couple of years ago, but yeah, he's doing all right now, and he's going to be a World Championship contender.
There's Tom Hanks and Phil Biggs, the Houghton Fabrications duo there. They're in 7th place at the moment with that recently rebuilt motor. They're in front of Tim Reeves and Trish Reeves and Bill Filt and Yodi Yendel on the back of Bill Filt. So that's the English teams there, I'd say, through from 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place.
Yeah, I'll tell you how it is now. Tom Hanks has grown up a lot in sidecar racing. He's saving his tyres. And have you noticed, Rob, that towards the end of each race now, Tom is coming on very strong, saving his tyres, saving his engines, and putting the effort in at the last lap.
But I think he has a problem. He's done a 2 minutes 5 lap time. That's at least 4 seconds off what he should be doing at this point in the race. So we'll keep a look at Hanks. Maybe it was something to do with the incident of Abbott. We don't know what happened on that first lap. It could be anything at the moment. It could be the head gasket that he repaired. Could be something damaged on the chassis.
I'll tell you what it is now, I know, Rob. Steve Webster is now looking at Steinhausen, and I haven't seen, dare I use the word ragged, Steve Webster's looking a little bit ragged and a bit shaken at the moment, and I think he needs to get past Jörg Steinhausen to settle down.
I'm sure you were going to say you haven't seen Steve Webster ragged for a long time, but I'll recall you Assen race 1 where Steve Webster smacked straight into the back of Steve Abbott. Steve Webster is getting a little bit ragged these days.
He's having to drive very hard now to keep with the young superstar riders now that are coming on. And yeah, Webber's having to put the effort in now, and I've never seen him look as aggressive, so aggressive for so long.
Lap times have dropped 2 seconds a lap for the first two, maintained for Klaffenbach. So Steinhausen and Webster have just pulled straight away from Klaffenbach and Van Gils. And Webster almost looked at a move there, almost went to the inside there, going over the top of the hill.
Jörg Steinhausen will know he's there, and Jörg will put all the effort in to keep Stevie Webster behind him.
Aqua Minerale down the bottom of the hill. This is where you need the grunt of the machine. You need that power transmitted through that 10-inch wide rear tyre. Steinhausen with a wide entry to the chicane. Webster a bit narrow, running over some more curbs. We'll have to look at that later in the race, because that will affect tyre wear, it will affect suspension.
Yeah, it creates all sorts of problems there, Rob, because what happens is it throws the machine out of balance, the suspension, he's not doing what suspension should do, and yeah, it just causes problems.
Hanks has now done a 2:05 again, but it's shown up as his fastest lap. So Hanks is definitely not lapping very fast. And also Skeen has done a 2 minutes 10. So Skeen has had an off or some sort of problem somewhere on the last lap.
Oh, Steve Webster there. I mean, he's putting the effort in. I mean, you don't see Steve Webster racing like this generally. He is Mr. Control. But at this moment in time, he's having to put everything that he knows into sidecar racing into keeping up with Steinhausen.
But he's not keeping up with Steinhausen. He lost another 10th or more that lap. And Steinhausen seems to be putting in a couple of laps just to try and break Steve Webster. Bold move.
Yes, what he'll be doing is getting pit signals, obviously, from father, ex-world champion, Rolf, and he'll be telling him exactly where he is and where Steve Webster is. And yeah, he'll be maybe putting a couple of quick laps in to try and shake Steve Webster off, rather than me.
Klaus Klaffenbach has pulled away from Van Gils now. Klaus Klaffenbach with a 59.1, so he's dropped a second off of Van Gils. Could Klaus be thinking about getting back on this duo? I think he's given them a 5-second gap. Not what you'd think from Klaffy.
Dare I say, Mr. Steady, I think Klaffenbach's looking for points now, and I know it's only 5 of 16 laps, but he'll be thinking all the time he needs the points.
Yes, well, he has to win. That's the whole thing for Claffey this race. He must win the race or have Webster not finish the race to have any chance of taking this title to Manly Court.
Jörg Steinhausen really, but look at him, they're throwing that machine about there. Jörg knows exactly where Steve Webster is. He'll know that he's only less than a half a second in front, and there'll be pressure on young Jörg Steinhausen's head, I'm sure.
Steinhausen with another fastest lap of 57.5, consistent, but yeah, just around the 57.5. Lap record from 2001 is Webster Woodhead with a 57.5 as well. So, in fact, that is a new lap record for Steinhausen. Last year, Webster didn't go faster, so we had a lot of competition in that race last year. And looks like Imola is going to provide some again for us today.
Yeah, looking at the top speeds there, Rob, just interestingly, Steinhausen only on a 230, with Webbo on a 232, but the fastest one on the fastest laps through the speed trap at the moment is Claffey on a 233.
Steinhausen's just put in a 56.9, so that's another fastest lap for Steinhausen. Webster's not on him, but he's not dropping off either. So maybe Webster is sitting behind as Steinhausen goes faster and faster. Now it's out to 0.7 of a second last time across the stripe.
Yeah, I think I've got to say at this moment in time, Rob, I think that Webber is keeping a briefing watch on Steinhausen, and I'm convinced that he'll make a move shortly.
We were watching Hanks before. He's back now in 10th place doing 206s. That is not the right thing for Hanks. He's got a problem.
Hanks has got a cylinder, I'm sure it'll be a cylinder head gasket problem, and the temperature in the engine, you'll find him nursing it home.
There's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. That's a fair battle going on there. Starting off with Reeves, Philp, Cameron, Rocher, Hanks and Gatt. So, oh yeah, there is something going on there. Let's look for damage on Hanks' machine. Can't see any on that side. Phil seems to be holding on all right.
I think it's a temperature problem, Rob, but when you look at the Skeen, the Reeves, the Philp, and of course Cameron in 8th place, I mean, what a good comeback result this is going to be for Cameron. Yeah,
well, Hanks is down. The top speed is only 2:14, so yeah, a definite problem there as well. He should be up around the 2:25 mark. But Gatt as well. Gatt's got past him this lap. Current British champions, Gatt and Randall, and they'll be chasing after Mike Rocher, and Gatt pulls out, in fact, to pass Mike Rocher just over the hill and heading for Ravassa.
Yeah, in 8th place, Rob Cameron, ex-British grass track champion, so he's doing very well.
Yes, Rob Cameron, first race of the year for him after thinking about Valencia. He's had some bike problems. In fact, last week he had the bike catch fire at a testing session, and in fact the first time practice the bike caught fire again, so he's had a lot of problems with fuel and with the temperature of the exhaust. So Rob Cameron is okay there now.
Look at that in 12th place, Dernancourt, the new French wildcard. In 12th place, I know he qualified a little bit better, but that is a lot of pressure on him to... he qualified in 7th place, right? And for him to be lying in 12th place at the moment, that is respectable.
Yes, I think he actually got caught up with Hanks and Abbott in that first lap melee, so he'll be trying to do some consistent times and learn from the experience.
I'll tell you what it is, Rob, Steve Webster, I haven't seen Steve drive that machine so hard. He makes it look so simple in most Grand Prix where he's winning all the time, but it looks like he's under some pressure from Jörg Steinhausen.
This is a great battle here, 6th place. Hanks is involved there, Gatt's involved, Rocher, Rob Cameron out the front there. They're going all over the place, and I think the French guys are being pretty sensible, just sitting in behind and watching it all go. Rob Cameron, 151, leads that. Behind him, 55, is Rocher and Harney. Gatt and Randall, number 30. Then 5 is Hanks. And there's the problem. We see it, it's horsepower. We saw Dernancourt just go straight past Hanks and Biggs there. So they're going to be getting a few lessons on lines from Tom Hanks. He's going to go back under them on the brakes wherever he can. Rocher goes underneath Rob Cameron. what a great battle midway in the pack.
Yeah, ex-British champion. I've got to say, Tom Hanks, he's looking under the weather at the moment. I think, looking at his body language, he's got some sort of engine problem.
Webster's pulled it out now. 0.2 of a second on that last lap is the gap from Webster to Steinhausen. So there is a bit of a decisive lap for Webster. Steinhausen did a 57.6, Webster 57.2. So Webster is definitely coming back onto Steinhausen.
Yeah, what I'm going to do here, Rob, is I'm going to predict that Steve Webster in the next couple of laps is going to make his move. And again, frustratingly so for Jörg Steinhausen, he'll probably clear off.
Yes, well, it would be a good way to win that 9th title with a race win at Imola. Steve Webster first here in 1983, the only one of the few. Oh, here's the replay, Steinhausen, this is through the Tamburello. Look at the attitude of the machines. Big slide from Webster again, just kicking the tail end of that machine around, maybe just to line it up for the left-hander there.
Yeah, what's happening there, Rob, is Jörg, he's picking the Sidecar wheel up. Looks really fantastic and really under pressure, but what he's actually doing, he's losing time.
Over the top of the hill now, heading down towards Ravassa. This is where Steve Webster's passed people before. Just on the brakes, nips up the inside and then blocks the exit of the corner. Not that time. And as they go through the second half of Ravassa and head back towards the finish line, Steiny's looking good. He's looking comfortable, not out of shape at all. In fact, Webster does look more out of shape than Steinhausen. Who would have said that last year?
I haven't seen Steve Webster drive so aggressively for a long time. But you've got Steiny leading with Webbo, Klaffenbach, Van Gils, Skeen there in 5th place. Great drive there with Tim Rees in 6th place, Bill Phillips in 7th, Rocher Gap and the Dynamite from France.
Dernancourt, the Dynamite from France, so named by my compatriots. Across the line, 10th place, so he's mixed in that battle with Rocher, Gat, Dernancourt, Cameron and Hanks. That's a battle of 5 between 8th and 12th. Here's Klaffenbach now. Klaus Klaffenbach won the title a couple of years ago with Christian Parser and with Ready Mix this year, the Ready Mix team, and making a return to sidecar racing this year, the Ready Mix team.
Yeah, Klaus runs a 600 Super Sports team as well, so Klaus has got everything going for him at the moment, but he's there in 3rd, and as I said earlier, Rob, I think he's riding for the points today.
He's having a fairly lonely ride at the moment, as 8 seconds back we have Van Gils, and then Skeen a further 30 seconds back, so stringing out at the front, but the battle is going to be between Steinhausen and Webster. Actually, 11th place Hanks there, he's just put in his fastest lap, 2:04, in that battle that we saw before. So Hanks still not up to what he should be doing, but he's put in his fastest lap on lap 10 of 16.
Yeah, what's happening here, Rob, as I've said before with Tom, he's saving his tyres, hopefully he's saving the engine, and we're going to see him sprinting through the field. He's in 11th place at the moment, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him in 5th or 6th place by the end of the race.
It is possible for Hanks, but last year he had massive brake problems and had to just back off all the way around the circuit.
Oh, did you see that there with Steve Webster's sidecar wheel? Steve usually has everything absolutely in control, but I'm telling you, he's putting a lot of effort into keeping him with Jörg Steinhausen.
Well, they are running a very fast pace. Here it is, the replay. Woodhead goes out, tries to get off the machine as much as possible. Halfway through the corner, Woody has to make the choice to go from left to right. If he doesn't go, the bike goes around in circles in a spin. If it goes too early, the sidecar wheel comes up too high.
Yeah, good one, Rob. And one day you'll make a sidecar passing, but I'll tell you what's going to cause maybe 1 or 2 problems now is they're going to be catching the tail enders very soon.
Yes, well, we saw a glimpse. I think there was a Fleury's out there in front of them. So, yes, Barry and Jane Fleury from New Zealand in front of them. So they will be catching them soon. Shouldn't be a problem. They're professionals. They know how to get out the way properly. But might just take a little bit of concentration from Jörg Steinhausen at the front.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. And the other thing, of course, they'll get the blue flag that tells them that they're about to be overtaken. And yeah, Barry, as you say, a professional, and he'll know exactly what's going on.
Some of the guys doing their fastest laps, Philp and Reeves, both into the 202s now.
I'll tell you what it is, I know, Rob. They're going to be catching lots of tail enders, not just an odd tail ender. Look at them now, they're going through them, and they've got lots of these to do yet.
Okay, looks like Webster's been balked very badly by the French Labale, and Steiny goes past the Fleuries, and he's going past Andy Peach as well. So that was a great move for Steiny with the traffic. Webster got absolutely balked, and I'm sure we're going to see the fireworks from Webster.
Always a problem is tail enders, Rob, but you can see now that Jörg Steinhausen has took complete advantage of that, and yeah, he's got quite a nice little gap, thank you very much.
Well, Webber just blows past Andy Peach and gets the Fleuries under brakes into the chicane, so he's okay now. He's cleared those back markers, and let's look at the gap crossing the line. 2.8 seconds that cost him.
It cost him a lot of time, that. Over 2 seconds to get past the tail enders. Always a problem, Rob. You'll find tail enders always a problem, but yeah, unfortunately on this occasion, Steve Webster's paid the price.
5 laps to go, 2.8 seconds to catch. I think Webster can do it, but we're going to see some fireworks before he gets to this checkered flag. Clattenbach in third, 14 seconds behind. Van Giel's behind him, and then Skeen, Philp, Reeves and Dernencourt. Philp and Reeves are on a charge as well. We'll have to look back at that battle as well, but battles all over the track here in this Superside race. Incredible action.
A lot of effort from Jock Skeen in fifth position. Be one of the better results for Jock, and
that will be his best if he finishes fifth. Equal best with Silverstone last year when he was a wild card, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they're again in sixth place, Philp, seventh Reeves, eighth Dernencourt, ninth Rocher, and what a good ride from Gatt in 10th place.
Yeah, that is a battle. Reeves, Skeen and Philp are all together now. Reeves has just put in a big lap and he's passed Skeen, so Reeves up to fifth.
Tim Reeves in a new team now, trying to create impressions. It's contract time, Rob.
It's contract time, yes. Team M&M signed Reeves midway through the season. This is his third event, fourth race, and he is doing very, very well for M&M. Here's the battle. Skeen second there, and that's Yodi Endel's face. We just looked straight into the visor of. This is the battle for fifth, sixth and seventh. They're doing around 202s and battling hard. Couple of different lines. Bill Philp with that horsepower problem, Skeeny running a Suzuki, and Reeves running an R1. So R1's front and rear and a Suzuki in the middle. Skeen, oh, that's a big, bold move from Jock Skeen and Neil Miller.
Look at that aggressive Scotsman. He's going back to Jock. He's now hungry to get into that position.
Well, actually, I had dinner with him last night, and they did bring out the haggis. So Jock Skeen is utterly prepared for this race.
Yeah, Jock will be. If he can grab a place, Jock will do. And you'll see, oh, look at the move there from Bill Philp trying to move on the inside, because it again is an England-Scotland battle.
Yeah, Philp up the inside. Oh, Jock hasn't seen him. That's very, very much side by side there. And this is a great battle here. Philp now going past Skeen. That does allow Reeves to get out in front a bit. Jock might just need to wipe away some of that red mist on his visor and take a moment just to look back. He's still got a few laps. If he takes a breath, comes back at them, maybe he can get past.
That was a very brave move there from Bill Philp. He had the actual sidecar on the grass, and he made the effort. He had the drive, and yes, he pulled away from Jock.
Yes, well, Yodi Endel, the passenger there, unfortunately came out of the machine last weekend at Silverstone, I believe, and there was a spectacular photo on the internet of him running along the ground on his head.
I think there was photographs taken by you, Rob.
No, unfortunately, that one wasn't taken by me. But back to the battle here. Reeves and Philp has absolutely caught him now. So Philp on the back of Reeves. This is what I was saying before. He doesn't have the horsepower, but he can catch up time under brakes, sitting just off the back of them as they go through Villeneuve. Throwing it sideways, not as sideways as Jock Skeen, though. Into the tosser curve. Bill Philp goes out wide. Reeves blocks the line. Power up the hill. So... well, Reeves having a big look behind just to see who was there, what was going on. That's interesting to see from the mid-pack guys. Yeah,
very unusual that, Rob, that you get the actual sidecar driver looking behind, because generally pit signals are everything that they need.
So Philp a bit squirrely through the top of the corner there, down in Acro Minerale. Excellent pasturing from Neil Miller. He's staying on well today. Back to our leaders. Steinhausen goes through. Jörg Steinhausen, Trevor Hopkinson. Second place, Webster and Woodhead. They haven't caught him. In fact, Webster is doing 2 seconds a lap slower. Has Webster got a problem? They just lapped Rob Cameron there, Rob Cameron and Mark Cox.
I'll tell you what it is, Rob. Webber's about 5.5 seconds down now on Jörg Steinhausen, and Jörg has settled into this race, and I think he's saved his tyres. He hasn't put when I say a lot of effort into it, he's put lots and lots of effort into it, but he has saved his tyres, and I think he's actually showing the old master some new tricks.
Well, yes, this is great for Steinhausen, because remember at Assen, he came into the pits with a suspected flat tyre. He came in, Rolf said, there's nothing wrong with it. What are you doing in here? He came back into the pits after the race, and he didn't want to look at anyone. He was so embarrassed. He spent 3 days not talking to anyone. The week after that went to Oschersleben, the German Championship, blitzed everyone and got his confidence back.
Yeah, I think the word is sulking that you're looking for there, Rob. When he actually come in, he just couldn't understand that, why the machine was handling so bad. Thought he had a flat tyre. He pulled in, then looked at the tyres and said, get out there and get it done.
So Hanks now in front of Dernancourt, Rocha and Gatt. So Hanks up to 8th now, a little bit behind this battle, and I don't think we'll actually see him up there, but Hanks has recovered and he's down into the 202s now.
I don't understand this one with Tom Hanks. Tom is a top front runner, and he's obviously got some sort of problem. But you've Jörg Steinhausen there. Now pulled another 3 seconds on Steve Webster, so you could be predicting exactly what you said, that maybe Webster has a small problem.
Well, that's another 3 seconds that lap. I don't think Claffey will catch him, but yeah, it just seems a little bit strange that with a few laps to go, Webster would knock it off so much. Maybe he has got an overheating problem. Would look for signs on the bike. There doesn't seem to be any steam coming out of the radiator or anything like that. But he just does not seem to be accelerating through on the exit of the turn.
Yeah, looking at Steve Webster there, the body language is telling me a lot. That he's looking now for a second place at least, and hopefully he's going to keep on that. But Claffey will be chasing him, and I tell you this, Steve Webster's definitely got a problem there.
Well, not long to go for Webber, so he should be able to ride it out. Van Gils in 4th place has had a great but lonely race. The battle at the moment is 5th, 6th and 7th. Reeves, Filth and Skeen, they've been swapping the paint, swapping the places, and having a great race.
Yeah, what's happened here, Rob, for the Van Gils? It's been a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon jaunt, because usually they are among the thick of the things, and Tony will be wondering what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, Skeen just dropping off that battle, 1 second behind Philp and Reeves. We're looking at Webster and Woodhead here. See how the passenger climbs out of that platform. Spaces for the feet to go, back onto the knees, pushes across the fairing. You'll see the hand holds here as they go around the corner. There's where he holds on with the hands, back down to the knees and slides himself across behind Webber again.
I'll tell you what it is, Rob. He's looking behind now, he's a passenger, and he's looking for Claffenbach, because he knows, the passenger knows that they've got a problem.
Steiny takes the last lap board, and everything will be going wrong in his mind now. He'll be listening for extra noises in the engine. They had their first real win together, they said, at Misano this year. This will be their second. Trevor Hopkinson and Jörg Steinhausen, the odd couple of sidecar racing, you'd have to say. A British guy and a German guy coming together, and it's worked so well. Yeah,
more to the point, he's a Yorkshire bloke and a German bloke. And yeah, they've come together, and they're a perfect team. And a young upstart and an old passenger, and yeah, it works perfect.
3rd place, Klaus Claffenbach and Christian Parser. The number 3 machine, not really powering it through, I'd say, at the moment.
Again, you're looking at the teams, and I've got to say, with the body language is telling me that they've all got problems this weekend. Tough track.
Well, Steiny, I think, is the only one that has stayed under 2 minutes for the whole race. He's just done a 58.8 because he's obviously seen his pit board and sees that Webster is now 11 seconds behind him. Claffenbach is a further 19 seconds behind. So it really is dragging out a bit.
He'll be enjoying this lap, you believe me. Jörg Steinhausen will really be enjoying this because 11-second gap. This is a great win for him.
Yes, but Steve Webster in second place will be knocking it off, but also thinking if he crosses the line ahead of, well, if he crosses the line, he will be the world champion for 2003.
Again?
Yes, again.
Yeah, this will be the 9th championship for Steve Webster. Steve Webster MBE, I might add.
Well, he's been racing for many, many years and has had his ups and downs. He's seen a lot of change in this sidecar racing business. And here it is, the win for Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson. What a race for them. They've just been in Germany. They've flown back down for the race. They're going to win the race here. Well, they've just won the race here. You can see the joy on their face. And then they're going to go back to Germany. Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead come across the line for second place.
Now makes him world champion.
And Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead are the new champions. Third place coming across the line will be Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parser, who had a very, very lonely race. There, Menge and Bedolk, they've crossed the line there. They've got points. They're in 14th place.
Points make prices in this game, Rob, and yeah, Steve Webster, we've been saying how his body language and the rest of it, and how, but he's actually going on to win the World Championship.
Yes, excellent for Steve Webster and Paul Woodhead, the passenger. But here are the winners of the race. Jörg Steinhausen, Trevor Hopkinson, waving to the fans.
Big crowd, I might add, and all have stopped behind to watch this sidecar race. They do like the sidecar race in Italy.
Yeah, they're hanging off the fences and having coffee in the little bars that dot around this Imola circuit and really enjoying what goes on. Steiny gets right out of the bike there. He'll be enjoying it. I mean, what he was talking about to me yesterday was the fun of sidecar racing. That's why he kept it a secret that he was doing this German championship. He just wanted to surprise everyone that he was going to go back to Hockenheim, qualify this morning, fly back down to Imola, race here, and now he's got to fly back to Hockenheim for another race win.
Dare I say, Rob, that he was born and bred for sidecar racing?
Well, Rolf Steinhausen, 2 times world champion, I'd say so.
Yeah, he's a great champion, his father.
And there we see a handstand. That's Andy Peach's passenger Lawrence there with a handstand. Peachy with a bit of a chuckle on there too.
How does he do that, Rob?
Here we go again. The feet go up. And I have never seen that before. That is just amazing how that happens. Peachy now doesn't need to hit the brakes.
Yeah, well, I do believe he'll have a little bit of trust in his driver there, Rob.
Yeah, a little bit of trust. And a fairly good fitting helmet, I'd say now.
Yeah, but that is sidecar racing. Everything is different.
Oh, that's so spectacular on the wind down lap. So the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th came through. Philp actually won that battle. So Philp got past Reeves in the end, beat him by half a second, and Skeen came back as well. So Skeen 7th place, Tom Hanks in 8th place though.
I don't know what's wrong with Tom. Obviously he's got an engine problem because Tom is a far higher runner than that. And I think, yeah, look at the marshals there getting on the knees and bowing down to them. That was a very good race.
Excellent race, Steiny. We all thought that Webster was going to come back at him, but in the end, he couldn't.
I predicted that Steve Webster was going to come back towards the end of the race after he'd saved his tyres and everything else. But, yeah, fair play to Jörg Steinhausen. What a good victory.
And there we see the joy, and Father Rolf gives him a big hug. Well, gives Trevor Hopkinson a big hug. And there it is, the team. Rolf getting in there with the hug. Just behind Jason from Yokohama, obscuring the TV camera for a minute.
That's my boy. He did very well for him.
Yeah, Steiny, he'd be having a big smile in there at the moment. He'll get the helmet off in a sec. Webster and Woodhead in there for second. Jukesy, just the mechanic there, just giving him a congratulations. And Rolf congratulating Webster too.
Also very friendly here, Rob. I mean, a race is a race, but you see respect from everybody. And there, ex-world champion #1, the wily Derbyshire Fox, Steve Abbott, putting his helmet on. He's going to have a ride round on the last lap.
He's still a world champion for one more race, I'd say.
Yeah, I understand that, Rob, and I'll be calling around there tonight to wish him the best. And yeah, Steve Abbott, he gets the ups and downs, and he'll be back.
Yeah, I hope he'll be back, the wily Derbyshire fox.
Yeah, he doesn't know I call him that, Rob, so I've got to be very careful here.
Okay, there's Park Ferme and Christian Parser just having a drink.
Yeah, Rob, Christian Parser. Maybe you could tell us a bit about Christian. He is the passenger, and what's he do for a living?
Well, he's a professional passenger as it comes. He gets to the track very, very early on in the race weekend, helps people put up their awnings, and sorts out a bit of hospitality as well. He's got some good friends in the paddock for Claffey's Super Sport team as well.
And is that all he actually does? He sounds a good chap to me.
Yeah, well, you know these passengers, they're all full of talk. There's Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs getting pushed back by the Flurries. And this is the traditional way to push back a sidecar. The passenger just lays back in the platform, puts his feet onto the front of the bike behind, and gets a bit of a push.
Look at Jane there, the New Zealand team of husband and wife. They've been around sidecar racing a long time, and yeah, they're pushing Steve Abbott back in. This is not untraditional. This is what you actually do.
And we've got another headstand here from Lawrence. PG's just laughing at him now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's unbelievable. That's what sidecar passengers are, Rob.
What, clowns?
Acrobats.
Ah, sorry, wrong part of the circus. So there it is, another handstand, just getting the blood back into his head after a big race.
How does he do that, Rob?
I've got no idea. Here is the race result. We've got Steinhausen and Hopkinson from Germany and Britain on the Suzuki taking the win. Webster and Woodhead dropping off towards the end and coming back 14 seconds it was. Klaffenbach, Van Gils stayed there for fourth. Then Philp, Reeves and Skeen, that great battle. And then Hanks and Gatt were having a bit of a battle, but Hanks got the best of that. Dernancourt, wild card from France, ended up 10th. They'll be over the moon with that. Rocha and Harney, Gauros, Menge and Bedolt had not a bad race, and rounding out with Morrissey and Peach. Oh, the podium's there already. They've been very efficient to us today. We have the winners coming out, Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hockenson. Squeezing up there on the podium. Fair step there, but the lanky German there managed to make it.
What annoys me, Rob, they take the helmets off and they look as though they've just had a run around the park. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. When I used to take my helmet off, it was just a ball of steam.
People preferred you to leave it on, didn't they?
Cheers, mate.
So the presentation for third out of the way. Webster uncharacteristically taking a second place. Woody having a bit of trouble reading the plaques. Take that one anyway. And Webbo taking the congratulations.
Who's that gentleman doing the presentations, Rob?
That's one of the mayors, I think it's the mayor of Imola, who's come down to make the presentation.
You know everything.
You can pull it out when you need. So there it is, the congratulations to Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson from the mayor of Imola.
Yeah, they'd be saying thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was a well-deserved and well done to Jörg Steinhausen. That was a great drive. Unusual to hear the German national anthem because usually it's Rule Britannia and Steve Webster and the rest of it, and maybe this will be a bit of an awakening for Mr. Webster.
Yes, well, we haven't heard it since Mazzano when Webbo made that big mistake and blistered his rear tyre. Steiny rode a great race, and Hanks as well. Brother Mike on the podium taking the manufacturer's trophy, brother of Jörg Steinhausen.
Big team event, Rob.
So the national anthem complete, and Mike gets the soaking. Jörg's not putting the trophy down, but he's still spraying the champagne. Bit of a celebration on the podium there. Webbo probably saving a bit for later on tonight. He'll be going back to his coach. He's got a lot of guests down there to chat to, so probably dishing out a bit of that podium champagne for them.
We've got a special interviewer on as well for the first, second and third places. Chris Herring will be throwing the questions at him, and I think that Chris will he'll sort this thing out. We'll know how the race went when Herring actually gets involved and asks the questions.
Okay, so the rider standings now. Webster 186 points and Klaffenbach 162. So I think there has been a mathematical error on your part, Norman. I'm putting it straight down to you. That is 24 points. A race win and a DNF at Magny-Cours could see Klaus Klaffenbach take the title.
Yeah, thanks a lot for reminding me on that one, Rob. Yeah, again, I've got to hold me hand up and say I was wrong there, but Steve Webster looked to me as though he was riding for a world championship and not a race win there, and I'll have a word with Steve Webster later on.
So here are some highlights from the race. The button gets switched, Steiny goes the inside, but Webster also out-dragged him. Bit of a melee. Let's look for what happened in that first scene. Abbott was involved. Webster got out in front of Steinhausen. We don't see what happened with Abbott. We'll have to wait for the interviews later in the paddock. Webster looked to be a little bit out of control. Hanks had a problem. We don't know what that is as well. We'll have to find out because he was way down. Steiny pulled a gap. Webster really tried to stay with him. He was within 0.2 of a second, but just couldn't quite do it. Klaffenbach, lonely race in third. And there we see again Webster trying very hard, but not able to beat Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson. Bit of lap traffic came into play. Webster got the raw end of the deal there. He was 2.8 seconds after that. And then this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th. Reeves, Skeen and Rolf Steinhausen crossing the fingers on pit lane. He didn't have to cross them too much, or maybe that's what it was, but Jörg Steinhausen and Trevor Hopkinson take the win. Rolf Steinhausen, very happy boy. Big hugs on pit lane, Mike and Rolf there. It's a family affair with the Steinhausens, and Rolf is very happy. Let's go down to Chris with the interviews for the top three.
Christian Parser, third place in today's race. How was the race for you?
Naja, das Rennen war eigentlich nicht besonders, aber eine Chance haben wir noch, eine kleine, und vielleicht können wir sie nützen beim letzten Rennen.
Christian, Klaus, third place, 24 points behind the lead now. One round to go. Your championship chances?
Yeah, still 1 point is enough. So I think we have still a chance, but only a little, but the chance is there.
Okay, off to Magny-Cours, confident of victory?
I don't know. We have so many problems the last two races, and we must sort it out, all the things. I think the material is now not the best, and yeah, we see, but we try hard.
Okay, Klaus, third place today, congratulations. Steve Webster, no 6th race win of the year for you, no 9th world title, but I think a 15th place at Magny-Cours is possible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, the championship's not decided by no means. You know, I've seen Rolf Bieland in the past lose the championship when he only needed 1 point to win. So I know these things can happen. So it's still it's the championship's still open. But the important thing for us was to finish good result today. There's no chance for us to catch Jörg and Trevor today. They drove very well, and sometimes you get beat, and it happens.
Okay, congratulations on second place. Paul, the race itself, the backmarkers played a little bit of a part with about 5 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, we were following Trevor and Jörg. They were a bit quicker than us through 1 or 2 other sections. We were a bit quicker than them through some of the others. I thought Steve was just biding his time, because we knew where we were going to do it. And then we got involved with some back markers, and Jörg got a couple of seconds on us through the back markers, and it just wasn't possible to catch him. So we were riding hard.
Well, congratulations on second, and good luck at Magny-Cours in 3 weeks' time. Yeah, congratulations on their victory today, and I believe qualifying at Hockenheim in Germany earlier today. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we have a clash with the German round in Hockenheim. It's the third this year so far, so we organized a second bike, and overall 15 people are involved to organize it. thing, and yeah, we had bad luck in qualification. 18th place in German Championship, win today, so well, I'm quite pleased with it.
And a great win. What was the early stages like when Steve Webster was right behind you?
Well, I felt the pressure. I just tried as hard as possible, go as quick as possible. Was a bit lucky in the first lap when we passed him. He struggled on the curbs, took the chance, and after that I just tried my best to do fast lap times, and yeah, it went out.
Well, congratulations on the win. Trevor Hopkins, in the race today, obviously the championship's gone for this year, but I suppose winning today and perhaps Magny-Cours would end the season nicely, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we take tomorrow first, I think, and then we go to Magny-Cours, and obviously we're looking for another win.
And today's race, no problems for you?
No, you know, I was a little bit tired because we've done a lot of miles in the last 24 hours, but forgot all that once we, you know, lights changed and we got underway.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on today's win. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. So there we have it. Jörg Steinhausen is qualified down the pack in Germany, but then he wins the race here in Imola.
He's an happy chappy. He's done well, and a lot of effort going into this weekend for Jörg, and I wouldn't like to be in second place behind him tomorrow in the German Championship.
Yes, well, he's going to be fighting his way through there. He's got another bike. Anyway, Klaffenbach there with some engine problems. Hopefully he can sort it out. Magny-Cours is in 3 weeks' time. First time we've ever been there, so we'll have to do a fair bit of research on the track, work out what's going on. About the same as the guys. Klaus Klaffenbach and Christian Parser, they've got 1 point in the championship down on Steve Webster. 1 point at Magny-Cours. It could come down to it. Steve Webster, he'd be confident of the win, but then also very, very nervous about mechanical failure at Magny-Cours. Could lose him the title. And there's Steiny and Trevor. They're out for a bit of fun. And that's probably what saw them take this race win today. They were relaxed. They're really into their racing at the moment. And maybe they are also a chance at Magny-Cours. So there we have it. Imola has been a great event. We've had crashes, we've had a great race, had a few surprises. I think we're going to have the same at Magny-Cours for the title decider in 3 weeks' time. Thanks to Chris Herring for the interviews, Norman Burgess in commentary. I'm Rob Marder. We'll see you there.